How many of you out there have ever seen a photo or a picture that you just couldn't take your eye off of? Something about it was different from the regular pictures that we see every day. There's a big difference between pictures taken from our phones and professionally taken portraits, but what makes them so different? My name is Nick, and I've been interested in photography and practicing photography for the last few years now, and I'm here to talk to you today about what goes into taking a successful photo and how to implement basic photography skills in your own life so you too can be equipped with the proper photo taking knowledge. I would like to preface myself in saying that I am in no way, shape, or form a professional. I just simply have a deep love for photo theory and plan to relay some of my knowledge onto you, so hopefully it'll help you out. Now, to get back what I was asking about before, that feeling of deep, intense adoration towards a picture is no accident. It's actually a product of a very meticulous process done by the photographer before he or she ever hits the shutter. Although there is no true equation of taking a successful photograph, there are a few things to keep in mind while you're out there shooting, along with some steps or rules that can be followed to help one properly compose a photo. The two main principles I want to discuss today are composition and lighting. Composition can be defined as the way in which something is put together or arranged, or in this case, the combination of elements that make up a photograph. According to Angela Belt in her book entitled The Elements of Photography, she says that a photo can be broken down into 7 basic elements: line, shape, form, texture, pattern, color, and space. Now, while these terms seem fairly elementary, it's the combination of these elements working together that allow photographers to create such aesthetically pleasing pieces of art. Todd Vorenkamp in B&H Photo says that composition is the main aspect of photographers that is 100% dependent on your efforts as the photographer. In other words, you get out what you put in. The more work put into nailing composition, the better your photos will appear. One of the most commonly used rules in photography is the rule of thirds. With this rule, you can picture any scene as being composed as a grid of 9 equal squares. The objective is to strategically place your subject either along the intersection of the grid lines or along the lines themselves. In doing so, the viewer is able to interact more naturally with the photo and therefore enjoy looking at it. Although this is only one example of a few elements working together, it can really go a long way in building a successful composition. In practice, working on composition can look many different ways. Maybe the placement of a tree in a landscape photo would look better in the left third of the picture rather than the right. Or maybe your model belongs in the very center of the picture to put the main focus on her. The beauty is, it's all up to you. Now, I'm sure we've all looked at a beautiful landscape or sunset and thought to ourselves, wow, I just really have to take a picture of this. Yet, upon doing so, the picture appears rather underexposed or darker than you prefer. This scenario can be caused by a number of things, including a faulty light meter within the camera, improper settings, or simply caused by a camera that isn't suitable for sunset scenes. Nevertheless, the reason I use this example is to exaggerate the importance of light. It can make or break a photo. All of the work done previously in understanding composition would be for nothing if the lighting isn't executed perfectly. With lighting, it is very circumstantial and dependent on what the photographer is trying to achieve. For instance, when it comes to portraiture, photographers typically go for a more soft, natural-looking light to complement their human subject. 2 basic types of lighting are front lighting and back lighting. Front lighting is perhaps the most common used form of lighting and creates a rather flat, non-contrasty look on the subjects. It creates a much more... It is quite literally when the light is in front of the light source coming from behind the scene. This creates much more contrast and offers a lot more shadows within the photograph. The most famous use of backlighting is used during the famous golden hour of the day, which can be utilized an hour after sunrise or an hour right before sunset. Backlit photos taken during golden hour create a glowing look on the subjects and complement skin tones or a good landscape beautifully. So next time you plan to go out on your Instagram-inspired photo shoot, take a second to think what time of day would create the best lighting for what look I'm going for. So now, I've left a lot of principles and ideas for you to apply to taking successful photographs. I've left out a lot, but I do believe I've pointed out and explained some basic factors to consider when taking pictures. And I hopefully shed some light onto the hard work that goes into creating meaningful photographs as well. So in the future, Before taking that unbelievably giant family photo a stranger asked you to take as you're walking by, just take a second and think, how can I turn this somewhat basic photo into something beautiful? It just might make someone's day. Thank you.